This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. Case closed. Of course, the suckers out there are buying into the mainstream media narrative of this entire facade of the Hunter Biden laptop. Now, what's scary about everything that's happening is that there's so many people who are conservative who think that they're awake, yet they believe in this Republican conservative party as if Rupert Murdoch and Fox News weren't hurting them just as bad as the liberal media is hurting the liberal people out there. Now, what's scary about this is that people are going to fall into this conservative deception. What they're doing is hurting people on both sides. Both sides are completely being misled. And that's how they're causing this great divide. The story about Hunter Biden is one of the fakest stories I've ever seen in my life. It is so ridiculously over the top. The mainstream media would never have leaked any of these photos of him doing drugs and all this other stuff. And then on top of all that, to continue to drive people insane, which is exactly what they're doing, because every single thing on the news is on there by design. It is to psychologically operate the masses and herd the masses, divide the masses, and of course, give you a fake perception of reality. All of these people in Congress are actors. They are the new face of celebrity, so to speak, in our country. They're more popular and known. You have senators from Texas and Iowa and all these states that are more known than some of the celebrities these days. That's done by design. They're hurting people through them. They're all playing roles to strategically implode the United States of America. The only way this New World Order government rises is to destroy all government structures that are already in place. The government is not going to be a capitalist government. They can't change the government, like I've said a million times, without destroying it. They can't just tell people that we're no longer capitalists, that you can no longer work and everybody can make money based on what they do, and you can do this, buy that, sell that, trade that. They want total control. They have to destroy it. So they're doing all this stuff on purpose with Roe v. Wade, with the trans in schools, and then, of course, the flip side narrative of it is all the stuff we see with the corruption in office, which deliberately is being done, which isn't real, which they're showing you so that people out there go, let's do something about it. Now we literally, as I covered a couple weeks ago, had this story about cocaine being found in the White House. And of course, it just conveniently was leaked all over the mainstream media. They couldn't have covered that up. Who's the one who leaked the information to the mainstream media? Oh, right. Then, of course, the fakest thing, which I've ever seen possibly, is how over the top they made this, where they showed Hunter Biden deliberately, of course, out on the 4th of July, the day that the coke was discovered, on the White House, on the, the landing looking out, or on the porch looking out at the fireworks, and of course, acting so stereotypically of somebody who was on cocaine. So that's all done by design, of course. You can't make it up. I'm going to show you the roles that all of these politicians have been playing. This is all predictive programming. All of this has been done in advance. They've shown you this stuff so that this looks believable. Because if any other time period, if people saw this behavior in the White House, they would say that this is insane, that this can't be real. We've been programmed to look at this and think that this is actually real. Or we have a president falling upstairs, falling downstairs, can't complete sentences. We have a vice president who's acting like a jackal, who is acting as the dumbest person in the history of the Oval Office. You have Donald Trump, who's acting, as this conservative dictator leader who's going to lead, get us out of the insanity and save America. It's all been done in advance, shown you in advance to desensitize you and prepare you for what's going on right now. And I'll show you that in a second, because I still want to show you this stuff with the cocaine story, because this here, now you have the mainstream media talking about how the Secret Service has found nothing. So we're supposed to believe in a time period where technology can literally track every single movement, ping every phone, cameras on every corner. We know that obviously in the White House, there's probably a camera on each wall of the White House. So they obviously could find somebody if they wanted to. But the point is that they want to make these stories where it's, they're above the law. The Bidens are above the law. They just keep breaking rules and yada, yada, yada. And this all leads to the 2024 election, where if somehow Joe Biden wins, and they tell you all these poll numbers now in advance, Biden's at the lowest approval rating in the history of the United States. So when Biden wins, or supposedly wins, right, everybody will say, this is completely rigged. We're not participating in this government anymore. We're going to break away into two countries. And people are like, that'll never happen. It's happening all around the world, because this is what they're doing now. This is how they're destroying the governments from within. And the people who end up on the liberal side of this, of course, are the guinea pigs and the science experiments for the New World Order government, for the smart cities, for the carbon footprint, et cetera. People who are going to buy into it and follow suit will continue to get boosted, et cetera, et cetera. So you even have the mainstream media, which shows you how fake this is because they would be ignoring it. The mainstream media, the liberal media, covering the fact that there was cocaine found in the White House and how they suddenly are like, there's no suspect, we can't find out who it is, case closed.
The Secret Service has now officially ended its probe into that baggie of cocaine discovered inside the White House. The decision comes nearly 2 weeks after the drug was found in a storage cubby. Let's bring in NBC News senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, what did the Secret Service investigation find here?
Well, Kate, it's what they didn't find that is so significant. They had testing done at an FBI crime lab on the small baggie and could not detect usable information like fingerprints or DNA in a form that could be used to compare against a list of names they created by checking entrance logs and video of the entrance on West Executive Avenue. This is the ground level entrance. It's a working entrance where visitors and at times staff and military and a variety of people go through. And because they could not find physical evidence that they say could be compared to that list, they cannot go forward with this investigation. That is very frustrating to members of Congress who received a classified briefing from representatives of the Secret Service today. Some of them frustrated. How could they not know? Isn't there some other way? One, even Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia had said, why aren't they drug testing that whole list of 500 people? Of course, that would potentially violate people's civil liberties.
So again, all done by design. This is a show you're watching. You're watching a movie. And this is playing on people's emotions. This is creating a false perception of what's going on in the world in people's minds. They're living in an alternate universe. People who follow the news and watch the news are living in an alternate reality. I cover this stuff to try to show you that this is all a psyop. It's psychological. These people in Congress are doing this to manipulate and herd you. Okay? So let's take a look at some of the stuff. Joe Biden is playing the role of what? Incompetent fool president. How many times in movies have we seen the president play this role where the president can't complete sentences, the president comes across as the dumbest person on the planet, et cetera, et cetera. We've seen it over and over again. This is the role that Biden's playing.
Despite this current crisis, the president is putting on his best political face. 6 months ago, has plummeted since the hostage crisis began. The CNN Victoria's Secret catalog.
Oh, yes. Okay, I'm all right, no problem. I slipped in the crab. Who put that crab there? Don't tell me. There were two crabs. They work in pairs.
And I'm deeply proud of the work she's doing as First Lady with Joining Forces Initiative. She started with Michelle Obama when she was Vice President and now carries on. There's been a little change in the arrangement of who's on the stage because of the First Lady's husband contracting COVID. But look at this room and what you see. Pardon? That's right. She's fine. It's me.
Gotcha. Let's ring at the door. Looks like we've got our saboteur.
That's your wife, sir.
Huh? Yeah, so it is.
If he gets wind of this, he'll use it against you in the campaign. He'll try to prove that you're incompetent.
I can prove that as well as he can. Sabotage. My God, man, what does it mean?
We have to tighten security, sir. Find out who's behind it.
No. The word sabotage. What's it mean?
That when they leave the saloon, the receptionist, the salon, they may be going to a saloon, I don't know. I caught part of President Putin's press conference, and he talked about the need for us to be able to have some kind of modus operandi where we dealt with making sure the Arctic was, in fact, a free zone. Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. As a joke. You didn't know where we were anyway.
But on a serious note, I'm here today at the,
How was the speech coming, sir?
Huh? Oh, I practiced my A's. Does this look like an A to you?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a seat. Have a seat. Thank you. Vice President Biden, Vice President. That was a joke.
President Benson. No, you're not. Seen him on television. He's an older man, about my height. But a word of advice. Don't go around calling yourself the president. I wouldn't do that, and I don't think you should either. It just doesn't hold water. The target area?
It's Minnesota, sir.
Oh, damn it, man. That's the genius of my plan. We don't have to traipse all over the world to fight. We can do it right here at home.
Sir, the enemy is over there.
Then we'll fly them over here. They can bring their relatives. We'll teach them to ice skate. Do I have to think of everything?
Okay, and most recently, with Kamala Harris, we've seen even a TV show with Julia Louis-Dreyfus from Seinfeld playing exactly Kamala Harris, doing the same exact thing to a T. Look at this.
My fellow Americans, words have many meanings, and sometimes instead of conveying our meaning, they can suggest other meanings.
When we talk about the children of the community, they are children of the community.
Well, we are the United States of America because we are united. And we are states.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Whatever we have in store cannot be known. The past was once the future. The future is, I should say, unknown.
We got to take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously.
Obesity is a serious disease, and it needs to be taken seriously.
You need to get to go and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home.
I hope that clarifies the issue, and this can be the last word on those words.
Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly we're not.
No, that's right, and that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled time.
And of course, after all that, you have Donald Trump on the other side. Now, I get it how it's easy to be persuaded into wanting Donald Trump to become president, but when these people, even when you look at it and you go, well, I'd rather Trump be there than Biden, whether they're all corrupt or they're not. The point is that whatever they're doing is done by design. So it's already in place. The plan is in place of what they're doing. We don't know what the plan is because they can go either way and create this. Right? But they're going to herd people with these two clowns, with Trump on one side and Biden on the other, and they're going to be trapped. So Donald Trump has been betrayed many times over in movies, in different characters in movies, and this one probably the most obvious one of the role that he is playing. Take a look.
99, 100. Just ain't better shape in this country. What the hell is happening to this country? Can anybody tell me what the hell is going on?
Vote for him, John?
I'm not even registered.
Well, get registered, pal, and vote against this turkey. He's dangerous. A real man of the people. Can't they see through this guy?
To join me, to join a growing army.
Do it, General.
You're insane.
Put your hand on a scanning screen and you'll go down in history with me. You're not the voice of the people. I am the voice of the people. The people speak through me, not you. Do it! Congratulations, General. My destiny. Let them come up.
This is not necessary, Mr. President. We have a diplomatic solution.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Secretary, the missiles are flying.
The most exciting, the most important campaign in the history of this great state.
Johnny!
And that, of course, is from the dead zone. So all of these people are actors. These stories are so formulated and fake. All this stuff over the last 2 years that have come out, the stories with Hunter Biden, like showing you measuring his drugs and all that stuff. And it just shows you, how dumb people can be on both sides. Because I always do criticize liberals, because I would obviously, if I believed this was real, would be a conservative if I thought it was real. Because we all kind of have the same ideologies that a conservative would have. We don't believe in this insanity of, the Planned Parenthood and the stuff with the people castrating themselves. Nobody, who's going to side with that other than insane people? But at the same time, they're like, well, the news is fake. All this stuff is fake. Well, you don't think that the people in Congress are doing this on purpose? The fact that the Hunter Biden stuff got out, why would it get played in the media? You think Rupert Murdoch on Fox News is against this stuff? Of course he's in on this stuff. They're all in. So psychologically, they need to convince people of what they want done. Problem, reaction, solution. All these things that are in place are being done psychologically, and they're designed psychologically to manipulate you. So they're giving you this false perception of all these people, look, there's no rules for the liberals. They can do what they want. We see them not getting arrested, right? That's what Fox News shows. They're not getting arrested. They're above the law. They tell you to wear a mask and they don't do it, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then the other side, of course, we see them, how they look at all conservatives as racist. It's done deliberately. Oh, the Roe v. Wade, how convenient that it just got overturned last year when people just out of nowhere to fit into this entire division narrative, right? This country that's allowing people to castrate, but they're not allowing that, and they're allowing this, and they're not allowing it. It's perfectly done by design. Okay, the CIA is rolling this out now. They know that they have control over all the minds. So even people who think they're awake are not awake. And that's why conservative voices continue to be allowed on all platforms, right? They put a few out there and they go, oh, they got censored. Trump supporter here got censored. Oh, Tucker Carlson got... All that stuff is fictitious. They're trying to make some of these people like Tucker Carlson into these rebels against establishment so they can hurt people as well. Russell Brand, oh my goodness, he's breaking away from Hollywood, even though he dated a Rothschild. Dated one. He was in a relationship with a Rothschild. It was with Katy Perry. Done by design to keep you in this. They need the conservative voices to herd people just as much as they need the liberal voices to herd people. This isn't one-sided. It's both sides, okay? And they're working together. Trump, Biden, all of them working together. This is a massive worldwide psychological op. And these people in Congress are playing roles. They've desensitized you like I've shown you so that you will believe this as you see it, right? People see this stuff with Biden and they're not going, is this even real? They're just assuming that it's real. Why? Because they've been programmed. They've seen these characters in movies which suddenly make them think, oh, there can be a president who's this dumb, who can't even complete a sentence. Oh, there's these crazy, mean, wild, out of control dictators like Trump. And then the perception's flipped on all sides, right? The conservatives think that the liberals are the tyrannical government. The liberals think that the conservatives are. This is a perfectly orchestrated story. None of this stuff ever gets out unless they want it out. They control the media. Everyone goes, oh, we know that they control the media. The media's under control. We got BlackRock. Everybody talks about that, right? But then what? You think that these stories about Biden are getting out there, Hunter Biden, because these people just want to put the story out there? If they control the media, that means they control all the stories in the media. And they only want them out there for a purpose. They don't waste their airtime. They're not doing it for ratings. They're not doing it going, well, this will get a rating if we put the Hunter Biden thing out there. They're doing it to build trust on both sides and then lead you astray. They're hurting the masses through it. It doesn't make the news unless they want it to. These people are playing roles. These stories are out there deliberately. Who leaked the story about the Coke? Is anyone talking about that? Who leaked the story? Is the guy alive? Does he have a job still? I mean, who couldn't have told you right off the get-go when they said that story that, of course, everyone was going to think it was Hunter Biden. And then, of course, 5 minutes later, they released footage of him wiping his nose, acting like somebody who would be on Coke, right? Couldn't be more blatantly obvious. And everyone's like, look at him on the porch. He's wiping his nose. I wonder who could have brought the cocaine. It was Hunter Biden. It was Hunter Biden. And then the Secret Service comes out and they go, yeah, case is closed. We can't figure out who it is. And they make it as obvious as they can, right? To say that it's this guy, right? MSNBC, Fox, they all air the clips of him rubbing his nose, all the stereotypical things. You think he's sweating, wiping his hair, as you saw in the clip. And they come out and they're like, we don't know. Well, what do you think that does to people who are conservative? It drives them nuts. driving a wedge between liberals and conservatives to the point where they don't want to live amongst each other. So the conservatives are going, this isn't fair. We got to do something about it. We got to get a break away from this. But that's what they want. And that's why they're showing you this stuff. That's why they're creating these stories. I'm not saying that in real life these people aren't drug addicts and all this other stuff. Of course they are. But it's way worse than cocaine, okay? We know what they're really into. It starts with the word adren, okay? And the other stuff that they're involved in. This, give me a break. This is nothing compared to what they really do. But this would never happen in another period of time. The president would have been impeached by now. I mean, Watergate's nothing compared to this, right? Watergate was obviously done by design by the CIA as well to get Nixon out. And what we're seeing right now, if the CIA wanted these people out, they'd be out. If the CIA didn't want this to go one way or the other, it wouldn't. Trump would never have gotten into office if they didn't want him in office. What, did the CIA not have power 4 years ago to do this with elections and all this other stuff? Of course they did. They're controlling the entire thing. And they know how to work people's minds better than anyone because they've been doing experiments on the human brain going back to Operation Paperclip in this country, right? And now they're perfecting it on the nation. MKUltra, we all know of all these scientific experiments. Well, guess what? It's happening in real time now. They're not doing it behind closed doors on unwilling patients that they're just taking off the streets. They're doing it on all of us. But people aren't realizing that. They're like, I'm awake. I know this stuff. Oh, yeah, they're Satanists. They're this, they're that. And then you're like, well, oh, and they're wearing a MAGA hat. And they're like, oh, but he's not? And they're like, well, what are we supposed to do? Well, what we're supposed to do is break away and stop participating. But that won't happen because they're creating these characters and people are putting so much emotion into these characters. They're emotionally invested in the political parties. And that's exactly what they wanted from the get-go. And these stories, obviously, again, are formulated on purpose. All actors playing roles. It could not be more obvious, but it's amazing how many people fall for it. And again, that's one of the reasons, not the main reason, but it's one of the reasons that obviously people like me and you are suppressed. I'm not saying I'm suppressed because nobody watches my channel. Well, people did watch. And they didn't want voices like me out there. They want voices out there that are going to keep you stuck in this. The Shapiros, those types of guys that are going to keep you in the conservative trap. It's a prison on both sides. Nothing gets out. I repeat, nothing gets out in the mainstream media unless they want it to. So in other words, the Secret Service story, the Hunter Biden laptop, why would they be out there if they didn't want them out there? Oh, right. They did want it out there. And they continue to want these things out there because they want to continue to drive people psychologically insane so that they can herd them the way that they want to. And Trump and Biden and the Dems and the Republicans and the mainstream media, whether it's the liberal talking media or the conservative Tucker Carlson side and Ben Shapiro side, are going to lead people into traps. I thank everyone for being here. Hope you're doing well. God bless all of you and your families.